Tensions escalated sharply across the line of control, LOC, this week, as residents in both Indian and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. In the early hours of Wednesday, Muhammad Wahid and his family were jolted awake in Muzaffarabad, the capital of Pakistan-administered Kashmir, when explosions rocked their home. Before we could process what was going on, more missiles landed. Panic spread everywhere. Children were crying, women were running for safety. Wahid told the BBC. We just ran outside in terror. Muzaffarabad was one of at least 3 areas hit by Indian missile strikes, which the Indian military said were in retaliation for a deadly militant attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that claimed 26 civilian lives. Indian authorities have accused Pakistan-based militant groups of orchestrating the attack, an allegation Islamabad has strongly denied. The BBC gathered accounts from civilians on both sides of the LOC, painting a grim picture of destruction and mounting fear. In Pakistan-administered Kashmir, officials reported that 8 civilians were killed and 35 injured in the strikes. Meanwhile, Indian authorities stated that Pakistani shelling killed at least 7 civilians on their side. Loss. Amid daily life. In India's Poonch district, Ruby Kaur lost her life when a mortar shell struck near her home around 1:45 a.m. Her uncle, Bhuava Singh, described how she had woken up early to make tea for her ailing husband when the explosion occurred. The shrapnel hit her head. She was bleeding badly, Singh recalled. We rushed her to the hospital, but she didn't survive. He added that the community had never seen shelling of such intensity before, and that the lack of community bunkers forced families to shelter in their homes. Dr. Zamrud Mughal, another resident of Poonch, said the entire city was shaken by loud explosions that continued for hours. People abandoned their homes, terrified, running toward what they hoped were safer places. A shell even hit near the forest office, damaging nearby buildings. Destruction in religious and educational sites in Muzaffarabad. Locals say Indian missiles struck an educational complex in the Nangal Sahadan suburb, which includes a school, college, hostel, and medical center. A local mosque, the Bilal Mosque, was also destroyed in the attack. Muhammad Yunus Shah described the terrifying sequence. 3 missiles came in quick succession. The 4th followed a few minutes later. It was chaos. Rescue operations are ongoing, but the psychological toll is already visible. We're terrified and unsure of what's next, Wahid said. People are fleeing their homes, trying to find safety, but there's so much uncertainty. Shahnawaz, another resident of Muzaffarabad, shared that his family is now desperately searching for a safe location. We feared something was coming. Now it's here, and we're just waiting for what happens next. A war of words. Amid destruction, India has described its strikes as focused, measured, and non-escalatory, emphasizing that they targeted terrorist infrastructure based on credible intelligence. However, many residents in the targeted areas contest that claim, saying that homes and mosques bore the brunt of the damage. Wahid expressed disbelief that his neighborhood mosque was among the sites hit. This was a peaceful place. We prayed there 5 times a day. There was never any suspicious activity. Why was it targeted? As the dust settles and rescue operations continue, residents on both sides of the LOC remain gripped by fear and uncertainty, worried that the worst may still be ahead.